Welcome. This is MoneyHeart, where we explore the emotional side of money. I'm Camille Diaz, and today we're discussing knowing your worth. My guests are Reagan Hatch and Caron Cooper. Reagan's career in sales began in her teens when she eventually developed a talent for seeing where a company could expand and growing a customer base. The ability to develop solid, lasting relationships has naturally led her to a career in marketing, where she gleefully gets to realize her creative side too. She is the co-founder of 2 successful marketing brands and loves every minute of it. Reagan, welcome to MoneyHeart.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so glad you're here. Caron has a background in graphic and web design, journalism, photography, and video production. She graduated with a television, radio, and film degree and started her career in the entertainment industry. She even contributed to the development of a half-hour comedy series that was sold to MTV. Caron, welcome to MoneyHeart.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay, glad to have both of you here and super excited that this is our first group episode. So I'm really thrilled to have a partnership here on the show. So business partners on the show is just too cool. I'm glad both of you are able to be here. Since we're talking about this knowing your worth concept, kind of give us your backstory a little bit. Like, how did you meet? How did you decide to run a company together? How did this all happen?
Yeah, well, Caron and I met in college. We were college friends and sorority sisters for a little bit. And we maintained our friendship after college and even have entertained the idea of doing other projects together. And so when we both came to a crossroads in our careers and we both left the companies we were with for similar reasons, we started commiserating a little bit, and Caron proposed an idea to start a remote website and marketing company, and she could be the creative director and run the back end, but she needed help with the sales. And so I told her, let me think about it. And probably about 12 hours later, I called her back and said I was in.
Really needed a lot of time to think it over there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Caron, what gave you the idea to go into business together?
Well, I had just moved across the country and had left an agency. And because I had done the solopreneur game in the past, I was kind of gravitating back toward that, but thought this time I really needed a partner, someone who could focus on business development and sales and let me do the creative. And so it was just after I had moved across the country, I saw a need out here in Washington State where they had had legalized cannabis, and I saw all these businesses needed websites. And so I thought it was a niche market that we could just jump right into and have, there was a large population that needed services, and it just seemed like a great place to jump in and then kind of build from there.
Nice. I like that. So kind of a natural fit. And you said, okay, there's a market here. We're ready to go. I've got someone who has strength in this area. Let's partner up. That's fabulous. And how long have you been in business together?
4 years.
Nice.
This month, exactly.
Yeah.
4 years.
Well, congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. And, it all happened so organically. We didn't have to force any of it. And so I haven't looked back since. I mean, of course, there's been some bumps in the road, but we were patient and also very encouraging and had a lot of faith into each other. And so it's been a good ride.
I think that is huge. And I just want to harp on this business partnership thing for a second, because I find myself drawn to want to have a business partner, but the times that I have done it or seen it happen, usually it does not end well. And I think what you just said was that each of you trusted the other one to do their job is huge. If you're going into a partnership and you can't trust the other partner to do what they said they were going to do, or the role that they agreed to play, then maybe that's not the partnership for you. So that's really cool. Have you, what other things have you found are key to your partnership?
Communication.
Yeah. Transparency.
Yeah, transparency for sure. And, goes back to the same thing. You got to have faith in each other that we're going to fulfill our own responsibilities and duties, because really Caron can't do what I do. She doesn't want to. I definitely can't do what she does, and I don't want to. And so if we want to be successful and have this thing going, we just both have to grind and hustle.
Yeah, I love that. So going back to the know your worth concept, how did you do your pricing when you first started? Like, how did you, because the cannabis industry in the area was new and the business was new. Like, how do you figure
I'll start with that. So I had built a website for a farm out here for like $500. And I thought, well, this is a great way to just jump in the market and with a viable product that was also like extremely affordable, and do it in a week. Right. So it didn't take a ton of resources from us. We did it in 1 week. We make $500. And so we basically bought a booth at a trade show and went and pitched our $500 website to anyone who would listen. And that's where we started, knowing that we would have to increase, but because we were both, we were remote, it was just the two of us, and we had a friend who was a contractor who was kind of helping us part-time. She had a full-time job. And so we didn't have a lot of expenses, so we could do it initially, but to grow, we knew we would have to eventually raise.
Yeah. And that booth was put on the trade show. The initial one was put on a credit card. So we knew we at least had to make enough money to pay that off.
Right.
And then we wanted to start making money for ourselves. So we realized, okay, we're like, this is starting to roll and gain a little ground. So we need to make more of these, but it wasn't long before we realized we have to be charging more.
Yeah.
And that was a scary jump in the very beginning, because we weren't that, we had a handful and we had projects on our website so people could see that we were legitimate. However, no one had heard of us.
Yeah.
So,
and it was an easy pitch at $500 for a website. Anybody can come up with $500 if you're starting a business to build a website. And it was so easy to sell that. And so then to have that first bump in price and having to retool our pitch,
Right.
but still be affordable to serve the entrepreneurs and the startups that we, formed our business to serve, so that they, when they didn't have a huge marketing budget, could still get in and be a player.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We were trying to cater to companies like ourselves that wanted into the industry and had a good heart and even a good business plan, but they didn't have deep pockets. So, or investors behind them. So we were, we knew we were going to do a good job and come out and hopefully get the word of mouth and referral in. But we were just catering to people that were starting out just like us.
Yeah. Yeah. Really interesting that you point out you tied your branding to your pricing, $500 website, get it done right, in a week. And then next, as soon as you had to change your prices, because that wasn't a sustainable model, you can only build X number of websites in a week, and not every website is going to be as simple as the $500 ones you were probably doing. Then did you have to kind of rebrand, like rethink your marketing strategy as well as your pricing?
No, in my opinion, no. It was just, we knew that, okay, if we're really going to do this, we have to make some money too. And we were still so early that, and we hadn't marketed ourselves either. So word of mouth, referral, and trade shows is all we had. And we realized we got to a point where people were scared to buy a $500 website for their business.
Oh.
They thought websites should cost more. And so it put a whole new perspective on our pricing and perceived value. And we didn't want to be perceived as a company, much less a team with no value, because we could really add a lot of value to these other companies.
Right. Yeah. I was just thinking about that perceived value concept of, okay, so they're coming to you and saying only $500. Well, I must not be getting anything very good for that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So how did that work out then when you did raise your price? How did you feel about it? Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it a no-brainer? Did you have a lot of discussions?
I think it was only hard for me and scary for Caron probably, but that first time I was telling the price, I thought, oh man, there's no way they're going to go with this. But it was all in my head, and it's all about the delivery and confidence and everything else. And it wasn't any harder to get business than it was before, maybe even easier, because we weren't underpriced.
Yeah. Yeah. Caron, did you have to deal with the price thing much, or was that just sort of like your internal conversations and then Reagan's got to go out and sell it? So not a big deal for you.
I think the big motivator was we wanted to hire our developer full time. And so that was a big motivation behind raising the prices. And from that perspective, it was a no-brainer. I too am always a little nervous about raising prices. And I tend to be the slower one, or the person who's the first to cave and offer a discount, which is why I knew, way back when I needed a partner in sales, because I am so generous that I will, give away. And I needed someone who's going to be a little tougher, that would stick to those prices and not immediately offer a discount, which I think in the agency world is incredibly common. Agencies, list big prices and at least in my experience, make deals all the time. But I think you set up a much stronger business and foundation when you stick to your pricing,
Yeah, I would agree. I usually tell people, instead of lowering your prices or making a deal or giving a discount, add some value, put in a bonus, put in something else that, is an extra, give them more things rather than discounting your prices, because then they're like, well, then what's it really worth? Maybe not so much. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So you specialize in the cannabis industry, which is a newer industry, and I'm guessing things are always changing. How does that kind of factor into your pricing model, or how website sales go and things like that? Does it make a big difference?
Well, I think the biggest difference is every year we have more and more competition, but every year we're growing, not just experience wise and capability wise, but our team is growing and our services are. So not in terms of expanded menu as much as improved streamlining our services and making sure it's just a well-oiled machine. So I think that the pricing issue is, I think right now we're in a position more to really stand firm on our prices, our reputation we have, and the products we produce, and worry less about how our prospects might take that number, because what I've noticed is a difference in filling the pipeline, because there's a lot more competition. I can't tell you how many states were legal 4 years ago, but now it's almost 40 or something. And so that there's other cannabis marketing agencies in every state now. And there weren't that many when we started compared to today.
Sure. Yeah. So in talking about those other companies, I happen to be married to someone who does e-commerce web development. So I understand this industry, and I understand that one development company can be very different from another, can be very different from another. And I hear a lot of horror stories of people getting into something and their developer disappeared, or what
Yeah.
do you ever face any of that kind of stuff? Like the you have to deal with the drama from the developer that came before you?
Yeah.
Caron, I'll let you address that one.
I would say that when I would, started way back when on my own, the first time, it was just such an interesting, everybody was hiring a relative, or they knew someone. Web design, especially back in, the aughts, there was Dreamweaver and trying to use just HTML straight, and then along kind of came WordPress and some of these CMS, and they were so clunky, and technology was always changing, and just we've come such a long way since I started. And I don't know, I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I think you were going for the way that people price based on where we are now.
Well, and just the disappearing of developers. There's only a million stories out there of, I hired someone, they disappeared, they stopped taking my calls, or it's a relative, and now it's getting in the way of our family dynamics because they're not delivering. And so yes, we've dealt with all of that, and that was exactly why we started the company and why we started with this, let's build it in a week. It shouldn't take months and months to build a website. You don't have time in your business to wait months and months to have a website delivered. You need to be online today or yesterday. And so we'll combat that fear by getting it done in a week, so that, there is no waiting months and months and wondering if it's ever going to get delivered. And by the time it launches, your business has changed.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
and so that's how we combated that, I think, with affordability and pricing. And also we're going to deliver it, in a week, so that there isn't, to eliminate that fear that it's not going to get done.
Yeah.
And also, we've had the same developer with us. She builds all of our websites. We're a female-owned and operated team. There's 4 of us full-time, and we literally live in every coordinate of the U.S., West Coast, East Coast, North and South. And so just the simplicity of the design week with, how it's capped, makes it really easier to compartmentalize all the tasks and web builds and everything else we have going on. And so projects usually, they're easy to complete. And so, but if they did take months and months, that might be a different issue. And I can imagine how there'd be more developer attrition and kidnappings and disappearances and stuff like that.
Yes. And holding the site hostage,
Yes.
Yeah. But the other way we combated that is just by putting our work on our website. And maybe not every single website we've ever built, but just about, every website we built, we put on our website right away and show you, here are all these people that we've launched, and we're adding to this every week.
Yeah.
And so we've built, hundreds of websites at this point. And I think that showing our proof on our website also builds trust.
Yeah. It's our referral list. If you want to know, here's all the companies we've worked for. Feel free to reach out to them, or let me know if you want some contact information, and I'll get it for you.
I love that, of just, hey, we're just adding to this every week. It's almost like this podcast, right? Every week there's a new one. We're going to have a new one. And you're doing the same thing every week. We're going to have a new website up, and you can go see what we've done, which is great, because you're showing that it actually does get done, that it actually does happen. Your work, you stand behind it. It's not a mystery type of thing, like, well, I don't know if they built that site or not. It's all up there. That's really cool. Right. I like that a lot. what else is super frustrating about pricing in your industry, if anything? Like, is it a big range? Like, do people still do the 500? Do people do 50,000? Like, what's the deal there?
Yeah, I think it ranges from probably two grand to 70 grand. It's really crazy. There's not a whole lot of companies out there that list their pricing like we do on their website, and there's a marketing reason before that. They want to get you on the phone, talk to you, and sell you. However, we believe in transparency, as Caron said, so we want to give you a starting point. And we also have cheaper versions, like a do-it-yourself if you need to. So we really just want to be resources for everyone. I'm always happy to give you critique on your website or talk you through, and just chat. If you want to work with us, let's chat and see how we can make it happen.
Yeah. How are you feeling about your current pricing? Is it working out? Are all the staff, everything's good? Are you looking to expand again?
We just raised our prices, but to go back a teeny bit, I was going to say that for the typical customer startup, let's say, when they go to look to have a website built, I think it's really challenging for them to compare apples to apples. As you mentioned, there are so many differences in web development companies and agencies and the services they offer. Even, in fact, today we got an email from one of our prospective customers who has a bid from another and is looking for an explanation to compare the two. How are they similar and how are they different? And so we try to educate people as we talk to them. We try to put everything on our website to be clear what it includes. And as you mentioned, also, we're trying to add a lot of value and include training and initial optimization for search engines and things that not everybody includes when they build a website, so that you aren't held hostage or required to pay more to get updates later. We're going to teach you how to use it so you don't have to come back and pay us unless you want to, because you just don't want to deal with it. And that's great. So the challenge is explaining what it includes and then having people be able to compare it to others and figure out which one is the best value. It's kind of challenging.
It is. I really love what you said about making your clients self-sufficient. Like, you are trying to teach them, okay, we built this, here's how you work it, here's how you make an update, here's how you use it, here's what it's all set up for, rather than, okay, I've done it, but if you want anything to happen, you've got to come back to me and pay again. And I don't care if it's just a typo, like there's a comma in the wrong place, it's going to be at least $100 for me to get in there and sort it out.
And a lot of agencies or web design companies charge a monthly fee to go beyond that. And we do offer monthly maintenance. We're not against it, but I come from the agency background in automotive, where they charged a monthly fee, and it made sense, right? Because automotive, there's a lot of turnover in inventory. There are a lot of changes, but for a typical mom and pop business or a cannabis farm or an ancillary business, they're not changing their website every day. They don't have a large inventory. And so why should they have to pay $300+ a month for basically a host, right? Because if you're not changing your website, and that's a cheap price for monthly maintenance. Maintenance can be thousands of dollars per month for some companies. And it just, we were trying to do away with some of the old standards of web design, taking months, costing thousands and thousands, having monthly fees that never go away, even if you're not, getting rid of some of those things and adding more value so that our pricing is palatable, and makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And in the concept of, our theme today of knowing your worth, you are solving a problem for people, multiple problems. You just named them all. It takes forever, and you're paying for things you don't need or use and all of that stuff. So of course, whatever you're charging or whatever, price you think is right, is easy for you to do because you know you've added the value there. And I think that's kind of the key is if you know you've added the value and you know you've decreased the fear and provided the service and fixed the problem, then it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes partnerships, client relationships start out great, and sometimes they start out rocky and don't get better. But bottom line is we want people to come back and work with us by choice. We don't want to obligate them to spend another penny with us unless they want to. Yeah. And we found that a lot of them do appreciate how we work, and they do come back for hosting, website maintenance, SEO, or email marketing. And so and that always makes it easier, but knowing it's mutual, they appreciate us. We obviously appreciate them for coming back to us, but it's all by choice.
Yes. I love that. I love that. What are the two of you most excited about right now, or what's new in your world at the moment?
I'm going to speak at the Women Empowered in Cannabis, WEIC. They're having their leadership summit in June 15th, or is it July? It's June 15th from 10 to 4 Pacific time online. And I'm going to be speaking on the aspect of partnerships and how important they are to women employed in cannabis.
Oh, I love that.
I'm excited about that.
That's fabulous. Caron,
yeah, we recently launched our new client portal, which makes streamlines our process even more and makes it just organized and fun and collaborative. And then so I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about doing some of our own marketing. We recently launched a new website for our Canasite brand. It's like, when you do a service yourself, you tend to take care of everyone else and not yourself. And so I'm excited to kind of focus on some of our own marketing. And then I'm also speaking at the White Label World Expo in Vegas at the end of the month about competing online and having a modern website.
Oh, very fun. I love this. You're such dynamic people. This is really, really cool. Tell us about your websites where people can go see all of this fantastic work. I know you've got 2 of them, so tell us what those 2 are.
We do. Our cannabis website is canasite.com, canasite.com. And that, just as it sounds, focuses on the cannabis industry, and we work with everything from ancillary businesses like lawyers and interior designers to growers, producers, and dispensaries. And our other website, which is kind of a catch-all, we love working with women, but we've worked with electricians and lawyers and all software companies, all sorts of things, anything not in cannabis. That one is CTMH Group, and it's a play on close to my heart. We work on passion projects, people's passion projects, but it also is an acronym for our last names, Caron Cooper Tier, and I'm Reagan Hatch, CTMH.
I love that. It's so much fun. Thank you both for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Camille. It was a blast. And may I add, if you would like to get a free website post-launch checklist, please go fill out the form at canasite.com and we'll send one to you.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, a post-launch checklist. That is perfect. That is perfect. I feel like I need to go get one. Okay, I'm going to go download when we're done so that I can check my website, because I just launched a new one like a few weeks ago. So
yes.
Nice.
Yes, yes. Thank you as well to all of our listeners and viewers. I'm your host, Camille Diaz. I'm a business optimization coach, financial educator, author, and speaker. You can contact me and find out what I'm up to through my website, CamilleDiaz.com, and follow me on social media at Cam Unfiltered. Be sure to follow MoneyHeart at MoneyHeart Show, and our website is MoneyHeartShow.com. Okay, each person has provided a money mantra for today. So I'm going to go to Reagan's first, and then you can kind of explain how this was important to you, and then I'll go to Caron. So Reagan, your mantra was, you are a money magnet. What drew you to that?
I feel like I've just been hearing a lot about manifesting whatever you want. And so that one just kind of intrigued me, because if I walk around saying that I'm a money magnet, then I'm manifesting that. And all projects will be attracted to me.
That's
my
right.
hope.
They will. They will. I love it. I love it. And Caron, yours was spend extravagantly on the things you love and cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't.
Yes, well, I can't take credit for it completely. It is from Ramit Sethi, who is someone I follow in the finance world, personal finance. And yes, it's talking about living a rich life, whatever that means to you. And so if that means travel or having a nice home or a camper or whatever that is, spend on the things that you love and cut costs on the things that you don't.
Yes, I love that concept of doing what's important to you rather than trying to keep up with your neighbors or what somebody on, social media says is the right thing to get. Just get the one that's like
right. It doesn't have to be a perfectly curated Instagram profile.
That's right.
If you do what you love.
Do what you love. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, Camille.
Thank you.